How's it going, guys? Got a Warpstone Cup match for you. This time it'll be XMT's Rider on the High Elves up against RTK's Stingers on Nurgle. I know Stingers plays quite a bit of High Elves himself, so maybe he has a tricky little build here for Nurgle. We'll see how it goes. Teclis on horse with Potion of Troy for that healing and ward save. It does increase his cooldowns, but it's worth it. Definitely worth it if you're going to bring Teclis. You also have Sword of Teclis for that for those reserves, and Spell Mastery, which is pretty great. Flock of Doom, Regrowth, and Net. I'm gonna pause it real quick as things are already starting to get into action very quickly. Spearman for the front line. We also have a Star Dragon. That's where most of the regrowths are going to be going, aside from maybe the Fireborn or the other Dragon Princes. These guys over here. But yeah, if you're playing against Rider, you pretty much will always, not always, but most of the time see a Star Dragon. He loves his Star Dragons. Sisters of Avalorn and Talons of Torquelada be the Archer ROR variant. They do have that flammable for that weakness to fire damage, and fire damage is fantastic against Nurgle because of how much healing they have. Fire damage reducing healing. They have flaming attacks themselves, and plus sisters as well have flaming plus magical. Flaming, obviously these two work well together, and sisters do have really good AP values to be shooting into Chaos Knights, Soul Grinders, etc. You have Silver Helms and Double Dragon Princes for the Cav, Fireborn being one of them, and they are primarily AP based Cav with their weapon strength switched from now having 31 AP instead of the other way around, 13 base now. So the High Elves used to struggle with heavily armored Cav factions. Now they have great AP. Now they have a unit specifically targeted for those heavy based AP Cav, or rather those heavy armor based Cav. We'll see how they do. For the Nurgle side, we'll go over into slow mode now. We do have Sorcerer Lord of Nurgle with Stream of Corruption, Miasma of Pestilence, and his regen item, Crown of Everlasting Conquest. We also have Children of Nurgle, as you're going to be spamming out these really cheap spells, Stream and Miasma, to constantly proc that 0.20%, which is pretty good. Double Exalted Hero on horseback, just to disrupt and just harass the High Elf Lord or heroes, plus get into the back line and even disrupt Cav charges. Chaos Knights as well, and Pestigors mostly for the front line, with just the Frolic Bubonic as the other infantry unit. They do have that blister back for that plus 8 leadership, melee damage reflection, and passive heal in melee. 3 Chaos Furies, because you can't go anywhere on a demon faction without Chaos Furies, even with their nerf. But right off the bat, we're having the Sister of Avalorn and archers shooting into the Pestigors, doing some pretty good damage, but then they're going to switch over to the Chaos Lord, who does get netted, so already doing some fantastic damage. You can see with that weakness from Flammable and fire AP damage from those sisters, doing wonderful work. Stream of Corruption ripping through those spearmen, going to do some great work. Sisters Sisters being attacked by the Chaos Furies, but they get a rear charge in from the Dragon Princes. On the other side, we do have Chaos Furies drop in as well on the Sisters, or the Talons, but we do have Silver Helms interrupting them as well. Exalted Hero fighting here with the Fireborn holding back the tide of Chaos Furies. And we do have the Sorcerer Lord taking quite a bit of damage, down to less than half HP, doing some pretty good work. A nasty breath attack hitting those Chaos Knights, who have done solid work into the Spearmen. The Frolicers Bubonic are making their way into the backline. Pestigors have made their way into the backline as well, disrupting those Sisters of Avalorn, but Silverhelm are keeping them occupied in the meanwhile. Talons of Torquelada are force shooting into those Chaos Knights, even with this Chaos Furies fighting at their back. Teclis is trying to help out, as well as the Dragon Princes, but actually I think they're trying to get somewhere else, but the Chaos Furies are blocking them. No, we do have the Chaos Knights as well, getting through those spearmen and fighting those Silver Helms. Star Dragon is going to start getting back up into the air. Spearman riding off. We have the Sorcerer coming back, and the Spearman riding off as well. Fireborn are being slowly dragged down by the Exalted Hero, Chaos Knights, and Pestigors. The front line has buckled very quickly by the High Elf line, which is not great. As soon as your infantry start to buckle, things get very, very nasty. And yeah, the more expensive range components of your army are starting to fall. Talons of Torquilada riding off. Sisters taking Instrument of Corruption along with the Silver Helms. Sisters are going to need to try to find some space to get up and start shooting again, as there's a lot of valuable targets that need to be shot. But there's too many Pestigors that are breaking through the front line and making it very tough for them. Another nasty breath attack hitting the Pestigors, and Chaos Knights doing some great work. He's going to land down and start getting some nasty hits in. We're trying to help out with the fight. Exalted Heroes coming over to try to deal with that dragon, and that dragon definitely does not want to be dealing with a 2v1. Pestigors finish off those spearmen, routing them off. Chaos Knights breaking through that front line, and or rather chasing off those spearmen, and they're going to start making their way over. Talons of Torquilada riding off, and Sisters might be riding off here soon as well, as they're down to 10 leadership and they're surrounded at the moment. But it is looking very, very tiresome for the High Elves. Exalted Hero trying to chase down Teclis, but we do have the Star Dragon chasing them down and trying to screen them out. Nasty overcast hitting Teclis, or rather a miscast, while he overcasts Flock of Doom, hitting all of these units. There's a pretty good Flock of Doom there. But yeah, Star Dragon is now unfortunately surrounded as they started to chase the Exalted Hero. Stream of Corruption hitting the Spearman, not going to do a whole lot of work. Teclis turns around, gets a rear charge here on the Exalted Hero, trying to rout him, and he does, possibly. Shaken, but, you know, they will stabilize in 15 leadership. Down to negative 16. Do they rout? Yes, it does end up routing. Very nice catch there. These Chaos Knights are being bogged down a little bit by the Spearmen, but we do have Pestigors coming to support, and I think that engagement in general will be going to Nurgle's side. Talons of Torquilada still up and shooting, however, into the back of the Chaos Knights, but these Pestigors are going to disrupt them and get on top of them, and I think that'll probably spell doom for the High Elves. Quite unfortunate indeed, but yes, it seems Stingers thought up something nasty to deal with Ryder's High Elf build. Let's see how things did. Teclis, 2100 value, did wonderful work there with some pretty good Flocks of Dooms and some nice net of Anadox. We also have 1899 from the Star Dragon, doing wonderful work there, fighting an Exalted Hero. Some good nasty breath attacks on the Chaos Knights and whatnot. Just did some good work all around. 730 on these Dragon Princes, 455 and 520. Yeah, the Fireborn unfortunately got dragged down pretty hard. There was just a lot to have to deal with, and not enough bodies on the High Elf side. A wide Pestigor build is very, very tough on the High Elves, especially when you're focused, when you have some expensive centerpieces like the Fireborn and a Star Dragon soaking up a lot of your money in your build composition. 960 on the Ascension of Avalon. Talons of Torquilada, 626. Spearman kind of got ran over, unfortunately. As for Nurgle's side, we do have the Sorcerer Lord with 835 value, 1251 here, 758 here, and the double heroes were very, very disruptive in that back line of the High Elves, and causing a lot of problems for Ryder. Chasing down Teclis, disrupting their cav, and all sorts of things. Pestigors did good as well, no surprise, butchering through High Elf Spearmen. 936 and 478 here on the Chaos Knight didn't do as great, but 936 is not too shabby. 883, 366, 331. Yeah, the first game will be going to Stingers. Well played to both players, and catch you guys with the next one. Seems we're bouncing high elves between both players here. As Ryder is now on the dark elves, Stingers bringing his high elves to the field, and also heading up Teclis, just like Ryder did. For the Dark Elves, we do have a Supreme Sorceress of Shadows with Melkoth's and Opal Amulet for that ward save, of course. And she's on a Black Dragon, no surprise there. Bleak Swords for the front line, as they will do fantastic into the High Elf Spearmen. Dark Shards with shields, the shields to help mitigate any missile fire from the High Elves. Cold One Knights as the Cav to help fight off any Dragon Princes. Masters as well can help out those fights with Dragon Princes, but also chase down characters, chase down skirmish cav, etc., screen them out. And I think we do have one Reaper Bolt Thrower, which can also as well help with the skirmishing or cav of the of the High Elf side. For the High Elf side, we do have Teclis, just like the last game. Sword of Teclis and Potion of Troy with Flock of Doom and Regrowth, no net this time, plus Kindle Flame and Arcane Conduit. For the front line, we do have a bunch of spears, a staunch line of spears with Talons of Torquelada. Are there any Silver and Guard in here? Is it all just, I think, yeah, 2 Silver and Guard and rest Spearmen. We also have some War Lines of Grace to help out with the frontline engagement. Also, they could be used as a flanking cav. Talons of Torquelada as well. That's going to be the single ranged piece for the High Elf side, aside from the Illyrian Reavers. And it is the ROR variant with that fire plus flammable, as you guys saw the last game. For the Cav, we do have the Fireborn, Dragon Prince ROR. They should do pretty good into Cold One Knights, though obviously they don't want to be surrounded. Already off the bat, we do have an Overcasted Melkoth, hitting them and doing some pretty solid damage, as you can already see. And as well, vice versa, we do have a Dark Shard. Actually, we do have a Flock of Doom Overcasted hitting the Dark Shards and the Reaper Bolt Thrower, doing some solid damage as well. Lyran Reavers are already skirmishing and doing some okay work into the Bleak Swords, even with their silver shields. But the Cold One Knights also have to watch out, though. They could start being shot at too, as they only have bronze shields. Bleak Swords obviously not being worth shooting at. But we have the Masters already screening out the Lyran Reavers, catching one of them, but the High Elf player Stingers is going to split up their cav, of course, and try to ignore them, continue shooting at the Supreme Sorceress and whatever the Dark Elf player has on this side. Another Melkoth hitting the Fireborn, going to start slowly whittling him down, almost down to half HP. Will it get down? Yeah, no, just above half HP, and my god, that's ridiculous from just 2 casts of Melkoth. But we do get a Regrowth, healing them up, good, because it's very, very centerpiece unit that you have there on the High Elf side, and definitely going to be the only thing to help mitigate or screen out the Supreme Sorceress and the Cold One Knights. Yes, the skirmishing continues on, and the Masters continue to be screened out, or rather ignored at this point. Supreme Sorceress does try to jump down on the Lyran Reavers and does a little bit of damage and screens them out, but they continue firing. Cold One Knights aren't going to be able to catch up. Already the Talons of Torquelada starting to shoot in and get some damage into the Bleak Swords, doing okay work. Teclis running back through the forest and getting away from those Bleak Swords. War Lions get in there, get a decent charge in there. They do have Strider, I believe, yes. So going to be mitigating any of those combat penalties in the forest. So they're going to do great work into the Bleak Swords, though they should probably get some support from Spearmen as well. Talents continuing to shoot in now at the Dark Shards. Their shields are mitigating some of that fire, but they do have the range over the Dark Shards, so they're doing some pretty good work there. War Lions get routed off, and I think from a breath attack, the Cold One Knights and the Bleak Swords, however, do take an another Flock of Doom, and does some pretty good work. Bleak Swords already close to routing. Cold War Knights do try to get out of there because they do not want that engagement just with spears. Master coming over to support. We do have the Dark Sharks getting some flanking shots into the Fireborn. Fireborn taking a lot of damage very, very quickly. Need to pull out, but some of their models are stuck between the Spearmen, unfortunately. On the other side, the Skirmish Machine continues on as they shoot in through the forest into the back of the infantry of the High Elves. Or the Dark Elves, excuse me. Cold War Knights have an engagement with Spearmen and Lyrian Reavers. Obviously, it's not going to go well for the Cold War Knights, and as they're bogged down by Spearmen. The Supreme Sorcerer tries to jump down on Teclis, gets a pretty nice hit. Might get another one. Yep, it does. But presumably Teclis will run away, and she gets another freaking hit, bringing them down to less than half HP. That was a close call there. If the High Elf player isn't careful, the Supreme Sorcerers could get another engagement on it and snipe him out. But she does try to get a Dragon Breath, and Teclis does pop the Potion of Troy, giving him that 40% ward save. I'm not sure if the High Elf player predicted that Dragon Breath, or if it was just coincidental just to give him back HP, but that did save him there. Not only that, but not only the ward save, but him just slowly moving out of that Dragon Breath, which is pretty nice. Supreme Sorceress drops down, gets on top of the Fireborn, and routes them off completely, and is going to continue chasing off. Throws another Melkos on there, and that's probably going to seal the deal. Cold War Knights finally get finished off, and these Lyrian Reavers still tied in combat with them. Same with the Spearmen as well. Reaper Bolt Thrower is now compromised by these Lyrian Reavers and is being shut down completely. That force was mitigating, or probably blocking a lot of their shots anyways. Dark Shards get run down by Lyrian Reavers, and there goes another range component for the Dark Elves shut down. We only have, one at the moment that's active. The other one is rotted off but coming back. So are the Talons still up and shooting? Yes. So right now the range capabilities are looking a lot better for the High Elves, as these Dark Shards are in the forest and probably going to be run down by these Silverin Guard and the Lyrian Reavers. Though we do have this one coming back, as I said. Going to start being able to get some poking shots into the back of those Silverin Guard. Talons of Torquilata are getting some flanking shots into those Bleak Swords, who for some reason have... Yeah, I see why. Their order's not being dropped. It's because some of these models are stuck in the Spearmen, so they're constantly trying to go back and help out with this Spearman engagement, while also trying to engage with the Talons of Torquilata, which is quite unfortunate. It's just Warhammer as it is, Total War Warhammer. Get another Melkos hitting these Lyrian Reavers. Gonna do some okay work, chip them down. Teclis finding home over here, trying to see what Flocks of Doom he can get, or any regrowths that are needed. We do have Murderous Prowess popped, so going to help out with some of these infantry engagements. War Lion's going to rout off soon, though they do up to 43 kills, 347 damage, or value, excuse me. Talons of Torquilata continuing to shoot in, now switching over to the Supreme Sorceress. And we do have Teclis being hit by, I think they got hit by a Melkost, but Potion of Troy is popped and going to regenerate some of the health. Another nasty breath attack going down, hitting these Spearmen, who have been holding on to these Masters all game. It's quite unfortunate, yeah. These Masters, obviously, not a huge golden investment, but they are a win con for the Dark Elves to get on top of any of the back line of the High Elves, didn't disrupt them, or also to tie down any cav that the High Elves have. So having them getting just torn apart by Spearmen for that duration just really is quite unfortunate. They're not making any value fighting those guys. Talents of Torquilata do take a Melkost, but are still up and about shooting, and can start getting some shots into that Sorceress. These War Lions still stable at, let's see, 23 leadership, not bad. And they're going to get a rear charge here on, or not rear charge, but help support these Bleak Swords. Help the Lyrian Reavers finish off those Bleak Swords, excuse me. Masters still fighting, and they're going to start pushing through into the Talons with the help of the Supreme Sorceress. And the Lyrian Reavers just being able to freely shoot all game, really, and wreak havoc through the Dark Elf line. Now getting some supporting shots into the Supreme Sorceress. A regrowth hitting the Silverin Guard, going to top them up. And that is probably going to be going to the High Elves, as the Spring Sorceress is not going to be able to whittle down the rest of this, especially without any Soul Stealers to punish any of these blobs from the High Elves. And heal her up as well. Yeah, as you can see, one master already being slowly whittled down by the spearmen. We get another regrowth hitting these war lions. They'll be able to come back. This master is going to is close to routing, exhausted, and yeah, that'll probably spell the end for unfortunately for Ryder here. Though obviously, if he was able to catch out Teclis, maybe there was a chance earlier on, but no, at this point it was way too late. And that'll be Ryder bowing out of the Warpstone Cup 2-0 in Stinger's favor, and pretty solid best of 3 all around. Well played to both players. Let's check out those values. 37-39 on the Sorceress. No surprise there. Sorceress is fantastic, as I've stated before, and as you'll continue to see in every freaking Dark Elf land battle match, she just reigns supreme. Is extremely good value-wise. Even with the Malekith, cost reduction, you're still going to see the Supreme Sorceress. You might see the Malekith on occasion, but it's either Supreme Sorceress or maybe even like Malice. But you know, Malice is Malice. He's just kind of a raid boss people ignore. So you're going to see her with Soul Stealer or just Mel cost, and yeah, she does fantastic here. That Melcost just does great work, as you can see, especially against like Cav, and whittling down those Fireborn. Look at that, 176 value they got, just being whittled down by the Dark Shards, by the Melcosts, by the Bolt Thrower. Just wonderful, wonderful work. Masters unfortunately didn't do great. They weren't. I'm not sure what build Ryder. No, I know what build Ryder was expecting. That's why the master was brought. It's just the issue is here is that, like, maybe if there's more Fireborn, obviously the masters could have been great. They're mitigating those charge bonuses of the Dragon Princess. So say for example, you send in one of the masters in to stop the charge of one of the Dragon Princesses or the Fireborn. That means they don't get their charge in, and the Cold One Knights do, and that turns the battle around. What would have looked like a fantastic battle for Dragon Princes turns around into these Cold One Knights' favor, because Dragon Princes rely a lot on their charge bonus. They have a massive charge bonus for a reason, and if you can do that, then obviously that'll be a big win for the Dark Elf side. But you can also use them to shut down Skirmishing or either screen them out. But Stingers played that extremely well, constantly separating their skirmishing units, and yeah, just kind of ignoring the masters there. 445 on the Bolt Thrower got shut down relatively easily, and those trees mitigated again some of those shots, or a lot of his shots. Cold One Knights didn't do that great either. Dark Shards had a tough time, and Bleak Swords as well. 1826 on Teclis there. Did some good work with those Flock of Dooms, and with the regrowths, which obviously won't show up in gold value. At 79, 63 on the Silver and Guard, 878 here. Skirmishing pretty much reigned supreme there on the High Elf side. There was Dark Elf player tried to shut them down, but they continued to stay a menace through that entire game, acting as Cav in melee, fending off Cold One Knights with the aid of spearmen, etc. And just getting those shots landed into the back of infantry engagements or shooting at Supreme Sorceress, etc. And shutting down the Bolt Thrower. Just wonderful micro there by Stingers. Obviously, spearmen are not going to pick up much value. 720 here on the Talons. Yeah, again, Dragon Princess got shut down very, very early on. But still, I mean, even then, they managed to clutch it out with a win there. The Fireborn were apparently just not needed. But Warlines did good as well. Or rather, did fine. 520 and 398. Mostly just fighting spearmen. But I'll catch you guys next time with another one. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.